Hello, I am here to drop in live with all of you and members, and we're going to do a very special read today and drop in with our theme for our 2024 challenge. And our focus this month is all about vision, activating our vision, getting really focused with our vision, laying down the foundation for our vision, and doing what we need to do to move into that progressive energy. We got a lot going on right now. We actually have a really potent stellium in Aquarius that is going down today. There's 4 planets in Aquarius, okay? And they're all heavy hitters. We also have a really interesting energy going on with Pluto and Mars. I believe that they are conjunct with each other, but also with Siva in the mix, which is associated with Shiva. So we know we're in a super dynamic time right now, and that's an asteroid. So it has a real impact on how things roll out. Now, is it rock and roll time? Is it the montage time? Absolutely. Okay, there's a lot that's shifting. There's a lot that will be unpredictable. There's a lot that's challenging, all right? And there's also so much work to be done around what you need to be shedding from your life, what no longer serves your forward momentum, okay? But at the same time, we know that the reason why Shiva destroys is to open up the way. It's like a blockbuster energy. It's clearing out whatever is getting in the way of you really activating your vision, activating your destiny, and it's just clearing it out so you can move forward in a really empowered way. All right, and activate that vision, whatever that vision may be. The problem is that a lot of people right now have this sense of they don't know what their vision is. Okay, they don't even know the best step to take because there's so much overlapping of karmic cycles that need to be closed, and so that can create sort of a heavy emotional atmosphere where you're feeling kind of caught between two worlds. It's like you're ready to move into the future, but at the same time, you feel like, well, I'm still, attached to the past and I haven't completely extricated myself. Or some of you have questions, some of you may have taken impulsive moves and then you realize I moved too quickly. I made a snap judgment. I see things differently now. We had so much eclipse energy rolling out last year, and especially with the way it combined with those 4 supermoons back to back to close out the year. There was a lot that came to light about, things that we didn't know, information we didn't have initially, and that's totally changed our ideas about what we want, how we want to move forward. All right. So it's really in this kind of formless place right now. Nothing's set in stone. All right. So we're going to go ahead. We're just going to dive into this. All right. And we're going to check it out, man. We're going to see how can you connect with your vision when you can't see the forest for the trees. All right. Let's check it out. Let's see what wants to come in. How can the collective here connect with their vision, see the way forward, know the path of purpose, know the path of heart, the path that aligns them with their greatest fulfillment, the path that will be facilitated with the most ease, with the most opportunities, because it is so in alignment that that flow is able to happen without obstruction. What is the right way to sort of encourage this connection? What is blocking this vision? And what needs to be done to rectify it? Okay, and I'm working with the Angel Tarot here. Really wanted to bring this in and just get a little bit of higher guidance coming in here. That feels good. That feels good. Ooh, Queen of Swords. I love it. Okay, big Libra energy. We also know we have Libra holding down the South Node, okay? So this is really about a time of making decisive decisions. You'll notice here, look at this flaming sword of truth here. It's really already about to be used and wielded and transformed into that spear of Lu energy, okay? There's some truth that's undeniable, and there's a truth about what needs to be cleared away, what needs to be transformed, what needs to be cut off in order to ignite a path forward, to blaze a trail moving forward. It says here, ritual and ceremony can acquire all the treasures of heaven and earth. And this is something that can be very beneficial, right? It can be very beneficial for igniting your path forward if you do some kind of symbolic ritual around that. Do some kind of symbolic statement of intention that can help you keep your focus for that North Star, your North Node, and what you're looking to create for yourself in your life. Hello, I see that somebody is here. Let me make sure I have the comments set so I can see all comments that come up. All right, I got it activated. So good to see you. So, this is really about activating that purpose. Hello, I'm so happy to see you, Miss Jenna. Yes, so this is really about recognizing that there is an old karmic cycle that's closed and that the new way forward is very different, right? It doesn't bear any resemblance to the past. We know that something is being completely burned away here and there's brush being cleared. This is like road opener energy, but it's happening in tandem with a karmic cycle being closed with this Queen of Swords energy. Now, there's a truth that all right? And once you know this truth, okay, there's this piece that it's like once you see it, you can't unsee it. So now that you know a truth in a situation, a core truth that maybe was something previously you couldn't admit to yourself, or you didn't understand or didn't have a clear vision of it, because at the tail end of last year, we were moving through all this sort of awakening energy. It was like, whoa, 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 right? All the lights started to come on in the room with those super moons back to back. And we moved out of that eclipse energy and we finally got a lay of the land and we're like, oh, wow, and where you started last year, in 2023 and how you ended it were two very different places, And so now there's this piece, it's like, okay, now what? Now what? Well, you have a certain truth. So this is sort of saying like, once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. So there's no way to go back to telling yourself the same story you once told yourself. This is a very clean drawing of line in the sand, right? Total like delineation point. That was then, this is now, okay? And what I'm really seeing here with this Queen of Swords is that there's a lot of opportunity to really hit that North Node of destiny and to really activate that vision and put yourself on a path that is very fulfilling, that gives you all of those rewards, not just materially, but also spiritually, emotionally, and provide an intellectual richness where maybe you felt kind of like almost brain numb, like just sort of going through the motions day to day. I think the collective all kind of got put in this position, just what we've been navigating over the past few years, okay? But this is turning that energy around, all right? There's something that has ended here. And I love this because right behind that, we have the King of Wands to the Ten of Pentacles. Wow. Okay, this is just basis of the matter. Okay, basis of the matter right here. Pretty potent energy. I do see this, the merging now of the fire energy coming in, you see? The sword is a flaming sword of truth. It's Fragarok. It's been pulled from its sheath. There's an undeniable truth. You know this, so you know the way forward is different. Now is coming time when soon you'll come into alignment with the action that needs to be taken with the King of Wands here. And it says eloquence gives answers to those in doubt. So right now you're kind of like, I don't know which way to go. I don't know which way to go. I don't know what the right choice is. What is my vision for my future? Because the lay of the land is so different. And it's not at all where I thought it would be or what I would be stepping into. But you don't need to worry about this because something is being balanced out. And look, that sword turns into the spear of blue. I love it. And you'll have the information you need. The vision will come in, okay? The vision will come in for you as long as you stay in alignment with that truth that you gained back there. And that you don't start to try to settle for a more convenient truth, just so you can stay within your comfort zone. Like I had this big awakening back there and it changed everything in my life. It changed my perspective about everything. It changed how I wanted to move forward. And now because I'm out of my comfort zone and things feel confusing, no, I'm just going to go back into my safe place and let's just kind of like, let's just kind of like shove that truth aside. No, it doesn't work like that. There's no way to do that. So we know the next thing that comes is what you need, the fuel for your fire, what you need to actually take that action. And it is coming into alignment. It's very clear here with the King of Wands coming in right after the Queen of Swords. Okay, so big Libra energy here, but I think of King of Wands and I think of what's that North Node? Aries. Okay, so it's fire sign energy. To me, this is speaking very much of the node energy right now. You got a truth, and that truth changes the course of your destiny. You know it. You were dealt some raw hand of fate. Now you're set on that alchemist journey where you have to go through the journey of transformation. And that's what truth does. It's the fire test of truth. And it blazes a new trail forward. All right. And then you will clearly know how to, aim and focus for your destiny. Right. You don't have those answers yet, but they're coming in soon. All right. And you will hit the mark. Look at this. You will hit the mark. Look at that pentacle energy there being used as a shield, really raising that sword of truth, setting the sights, maintaining balance by not abandoning the wisdom you learned from the experiences you've been through in the past, by standing on that pearl of wisdom that was hard earned. I also heard, don't cast your pearls before swine. All right. And that's that comfort zone piece coming in again. Inner and outer work helps one keep their job and protects against disasters. Well, your job right now is to fulfill your destiny. Your job right now is to do this work of the alchemist, to take all of that base lead of everything that weighed you down in your past, all the rough lessons, the difficult hand you got dealt, and to transform this energy. Now, if I was just to look at this as a baseline and say, what is something you can do to encourage your vision to come forward? By the way that this sword, which swords are about being very clear cut, right? They're about being decisive, okay? They're about being in a place of intellectual lucidity, okay? And then with the fire, I think of transformation. I also think of burning away, purification. So there can be restoration, like kind of when you clear land intentionally with fire. And so I really feel that working with TUATHA could be a very beneficial exercise and can be an extremely beneficial working that is very simple to do. And you can do this to start your day, or you can do it to close your day, to kind of also seed your dreams with the vision and invite that intuitive awareness to come forward and sort of clear out the cobwebs so you can see things clearly. Because often when our vision first comes in, it's pulling down from the ether. So when it first comes into the realm of thought, it speaks to us in symbols. And so naturally, it sort of arises within the dream space first, and it's up to us to work with those archetypal symbols, to use them as keys that unlock the doorways of our perception, activate that pineal gland, and help us set our focus with Ajna, our third eye chakra. That's how we launch our vision into being. So you could even do it to start your day and end your day as well. I really think most potency, I'm a firm believer in bringing forward Agni at any time. If you're struggling to bring your fire forward and to have clarity and to know what action to take, Agni is always a helpful influence. So one way to ignite Agni is working with Chatak. And what better way to ignite your Agni? Remember, this goes into the piece too about you can't create any change in your life if you don't have energy. So Agni brings energy as well. Energy and the strength and the endurance and the focus and the ammunition to be able to act. All right. So I think it can be super helpful to just take a little time at the start of your day, maybe go out and get a vigil candle. Okay. And it's always easy to get one of those votives. You can usually find them in a lot of the like where you can find the Mexican food stuff in the grocery store. You can find those votive candles, the glass votives. And they'll last you. They call them 7-day candles, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because my stuff tends to burn hot, but they never last 7 days. I usually go through them in like 4 days, but everybody's different. Okay, sometimes you get more of a slow burner, but usually my flames are pretty high and steady when I work with one of those candles most of the time. All right, occasionally I'll have one stretch a little beyond 4 days, but I don't know why they call them 7 days. I don't know about you, but I've never had one lasts that long. So, but you know what I'm talking about, okay? And you might want to work with a color that actually gives clarity and psychic insight. So, the best color to work with would be a yellow candle or a gold candle, but especially yellow. Yellow brings a lot of clarity. Yellow is also activating for the psychic vision. And you may even want to work with the color yellow or bring kind of more yellow color therapy into your environment. It can actually be stimulating in that way. Most people think of purple when they think of psychic insight because they associate it with the third eye chakra color association. But yellow is excellent because yellow clears out also the heavier sort of energy. Okay, so if you're dealing with feeling kind of cloudy headed and you're having trouble like really seeing things clearly, if you lack clarity, if you feel confused, okay, if you feel depressed as well, because yellow is also a very uplifting color. It reminds us of the sun, so it also invites in that sort of solar energy activation. So beneficial. And I think we brought this in here before as well, that sun gazing can be very helpful for activating the vision. And why? Because it stimulates the pineal gland. And the pineal gland is where you get all the visionary experiences. It's how you're really able to connect with your intuition in such a way that it can be directive for what is being called to be brought into manifestation in your day-to-day reality. So working with a yellow candle would be supremely helpful. If you wanted to make more of a ritual out of it, because it does say ritual and ceremony here, while you're working with your trot talk, you might want to actually set up like a little altar space. It can be like a bedside table, it can be a shelf, it can be a candle, that you keep on your dinner table. That might be nice too. I kind of like that. You can kind of pair that too if you bring it in sort of calling in your focus and your vision before you eat. It can also bring in consciousness around eating and also, nourishing yourself, nourishing the vision that you want to have come forward. So you can kind of pair these energies. That's kind of cool. I never thought of doing it that way. But if you wanted to do that, you could put down, a yellow altar cloth. You could add yellow flowers, even if you don't have a yellow candle. White is always good for just that clear, energy. You could also bring in, for those of you that persuasion, you could do a little yellow glitter to top your candle as well because it's very magnetizing. It draws things in, okay? It can have that sort of energy, and it also adds a little sparkle that never hurts. If you're feeling kind of dull and cloudy, then yeah, add a little sparkle and shine to the consciousness so you can have greater clarity and also that magnetizing of drawing your vision in through the consciousness. It can help you attract what you're needing, that clarity and connecting with the archetypal symbols and the synchronicities and the guidance that you need, the internal guidance that is through the awakening of your own instincts and your intuition. Okay, that can be very helpful as well. You may also want to work with yellow stones. Citrine is excellent, excellent clarifier, but it's also great for sort of stoking the creativity. It's a wonderful one to work with. Honey calcite is another one that's excellent, especially for clearing out what is sort of like blocking energies. Okay, it's good for clearing all the chakra centers, so that's a nice one that you could work with as well. You could work with amber too. Amber would be really good for grounding your vision in material reality. All right, so these are all stone allies that you can bring in, and there's no limitation to that as well. You know, always good to bring in, you know, a Herkimer diamond or clear quartz. You could also bring in amethyst for transformation and to just resonate with that energy of the third eye chakra, Ajna. Okay. So this is what I'm getting as sort of a baseline, but it's interesting because what we got on the bottom here is death. Okay. So we have that Scorpio energy. And so it shows that there's still something that's left over, 2022 on the clock from the old cycle we went through back when Scorpio was in the south node. Okay. And Taurus was in the north node. That still remains to be completed. I mean, time's almost up on it, but it's not quite cleared out yet. So this is why you're feeling foggy, okay? And this is why you feel like you're kind of fumbling around and you don't know exactly how you're being asked to apply your energy, because you're trying to race ahead when there's still a little bit more to complete here. So this is more about calling the vision forward at this time. And the best way to do that is to ask, what is the path that I'm meant to tread at this time? What is the direction I'm being asked to go in? How can I serve? That came forward recently. I got a download about that, just waking up in the morning and saying, how can I serve? Often what I will do when I connect with spirit, I will say, I will to will your will. Show me the way today. It's just a really simple prayer that I bring in, and then I just pay attention to how my day unfolds. And if I'm having uncomfortable experiences or something's rubbing me the wrong way, then I know that this is something that's requiring my attention that maybe I'm not looking at and I need to hold space for. If there's opportunities for me to be helpful to another person or to contribute to a situation to make the way easier for, you know, the others in a situation that I'm dealing with, then I will do that work. You know, if there's something I need to sacrifice, maybe it's a habit I have that I need to release because it's just getting in my way, then I will do that. And I also did a write-up on the community board about that, talking about BS belief systems and how you can play with this, how you can sort of like experiment with this and move more into creative partnership with life, where if you don't know the way, the best thing to do is not to just keep going and wandering aimlessly, right? Because then you can really get lost. You can really get off track. The best thing to do is what? Stop and ask for directions, okay? So this is kind of like asking the multiverse to activate your internal GPS, all right? So this can all be kind of like the intention you bring in around that TUATHA. And you can also, like, if you do decide to create an actual altar space around it, you don't know any road will get you there. Yeah, I mean, you can say that. How long do you want to stay in the bardo? That's up to you. I mean, some people don't mind that. If you want to kind of go aimlessly in circles, that's cool. I mean, it's a choice. And that may be what some people want to do. And if that's what you want to do, if you don't want to set your sights on anything, and if you want to just kind of like wander aimlessly for a while, get lost in the world for a while, that's a way to go. You know, every person has to determine what their vision is and what that experience looks like. But then there's also the practicalities of that. So it's understanding that if you want to wander aimlessly for a while, you can do that, but there's maintenance required for wandering aimlessly as well. There's certain checks and balances and things that have to be put in place. And so if you do want to do that, if you're like, hey, I just want a little eat, pray, love action, man, I don't know what I want to do. Hey, no, it may have been meant in a facetious way, but it actually has merit. There are some people that don't want to make up their mind. They're not ready for that. And that's okay. But then it's kind of like, I'm not ready to make up my mind yet. I don't feel ready for that. So can you show me the way to move forward in a way where I can kind of get lost for a while and I can go on that hermit's journey. I can go on that journey of self-discovery. And take the long way home. You know, that's possible too. You know, I think it may have been facetious, but it brings up a valid point there are some people that just want to wander. Not all who wander are lost, right? Okay. So it's about asking, like, where do I wander to next? All right. You can even have mini wandering quests. You can wake up in the morning and you can say, today I just want to wander. I want to wander and I don't know the way. I'm on pilgrimage today. And I'm asking you, spirit, higher consciousness, uh, fairy, whatever you follow, whatever floats your boat, ancestors, um, lead me today. Lead me on the journey of the wanderer and help me wander to meaningful places that will give me clues, that will show me signs, right? Yeah, it's great. You can play with it. This is really what I'm wanting to bring in at the channel. And this is really how I'm going to start shifting readings. It's about this. It's every day is a quest. Life is role play. That it really is, because if you think about it, it's just all one consciousness, and we each have our own role to play with that consciousness, and we can switch it up. And that's not about being authentic, and it's not about being fake or putting on airs. It's about, this is where I'm authentically at today, so how can I role play this in a way that allows me to sort of grok an aspect of character that maybe I don't feel in touch with. And how can I bring that forward today? Okay, I feel lost today. I don't know the way forward. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. It doesn't have to be like, wow, I'm such a loser. I don't know the way forward. I don't know the next step to take. No, you can flip it. No, today I am like the great bard Taliesin, and I am a wanderer on the road following magical whims and the guidance of the fates, you know? And I'm on pilgrimage today. And I'm just heading out. And I'm going to follow the signs and trust the magic that greets me on my path. And do you understand how then it's like, even when you're lost, you're already found. It's like already your vision is igniting because you're bringing your creativity forward. And you're allowing yourself to play with the energy instead of viewing it as a roadblock. You're viewing it as an opportunity for alchemy. And it's actually really a beautiful thing. It's a really cool experience. But see, right here, you're just in the in-between place. You're in the place where you're neither here nor there. You're betwixt and between, which is actually a very magical place. It's the moment of its inception. It's when anything can be. It's the moment when the impossible becomes possible because nothing is yet formed. And that's a lot of potency on deck. So it may seem like nothing's happening right now, right? But everything is happening, and it's so freaking cool, man. Right? It's so freaking cool, man. So this is what will give longevity on the path and will really help you stay connected to the path, right? But at the same time, you have to understand that in this in-between place, the reason why you don't have your vision forward yet is because there's still remnants of this closing of the karmic cycle that you're in process with. And it's okay if it's taking you longer than you thought it would, because what we're closing out here is significant. And it's significant because of everything that's lining up with the age of Aquarius and all this, all this action we got going on with all the planets in Aquarius right now. I'm trying to remember what they all are, okay? We got a major stellium going on, 4 planets. I know it's Mars. I know it's Pluto. Okay. We do have that Siva action going on, the asteroid associated with the energy of Shiva. Okay. That's factoring in there. There's 2 other planets too that are in the mix. I can't remember them right now. I want to say one is Mercury, which does throw in a sort of wild card mix, and is the other Venus. I believe so. Okay. I will correct it. I will make sure to correct it and put it in the comments if I'm incorrect about those planets that are the stellium in Aquarius right now. But we also moved Pluto out of that really demanding position it was in, being in Capricorn. That was rough. right? That was like, the school of hard knocks. That was hard times and bitter tea. That was mean and heavy energy. But now it's in Aquarius, where it actually invites in more of a raw, unbridled, spring in the lock to freedom kind of energy. It's cool, actually. It's cool being in Aquarius. It brings its challenges, yes. It brings its heavy energy, yes. We know this. But you can choose to focus on the mean and heavy aspects, the challenging aspects. You can choose to focus on Orwellian themes of doom and gloom and dystopia, or you can be a rabble rouser. I mean, you get to play your role. You get to choose. So this can be something really cool to do, working with, coming back around in that roundabout way, as I often do with my downloads. This can be a really cool way to work with the energy. You can work with this ritual, a ritual of sorts. You can call it a tantric exercise. It is a tantric exercise. You can work with this candle gazing, right? And you can stare into the flame every morning and every evening. And in the morning, it can be really cool because what you can do is you can set your quest for the day, right? What's your quest for the day? I gave some ideas too on the board in the piece I wrote up. You can start out the day saying, today I intend that everything that shows up on my life, in my life, on my path, is absolutely meaningless. All right. This is getting kind of out of pocket, but this is very Aquarian, to look at things in a new way. So often we search for what's meaningful, right? But what if you let the focus be on what is meaningless? Okay. And then as everything shows up, right? As everything shows up on your path, things that normally you would feel are like, oh, this is the end of the world. It's like, no, actually, that's kind of meaningless. I mean, I know that everything that's showing up today is meaningless. So this is like life is now highlighting to me where I shouldn't put my attention, where I shouldn't put my focus. Okay, I've been giving that a lot of attention, actually. I've been thinking that was something really meaningful. And I love that you already had candle gazing, TUATHA come in for you. There are no accidents. It is a collective consciousness. And we are all plucking those strings on that cosmic web of creation, having that reverberation effect. And that's how we can all tap in to so much of the energy at the same time. But what's really needed to use that cosmic web of creation in a very dynamic way. I mean, it's mirrored images here on terra firma. It absolutely applies in our 3D reality, even as that cosmic web extends to all parallels of reality, all dimensions of time, space. The energy is actually very expansive, but you get to choose how you root it in your day to day by where you put your focus. So that's a good way. Set your quest at the beginning of the day with the TUATHA. And you stare into the candle flame and let all your focus and your prayers and your intentions that you're setting for your day, the quest you're setting for your day, be fed into the flame, and ask it to light the way forward for you through synchronicity, through what comes through in the day, so it can ignite your vision, give you clarity of vision through whatever you choose. Whether you choose, I'm going on pilgrimage today, or I'm going on a treasure hunt today, or today everything that comes on my path is absolutely meaningless, or today everything that shows up on my path absolutely means something. Okay? You can set whatever you want. You can play with it. You can have fun with it. You can set it up as, a magical mystery tour. Maybe you don't want the answers. Maybe you want a bit of a whodunit. Okay? You can have any experience you want. And when you set your vision like that, now you're entering into this creative play space with life itself. And life always loves that. Oh, you want to co-create? Okay, let's have some fun. And this can often be what sparks your vision, because now you're entering into that play space of imagination, right? You're moving out of drudgery. You're changing up the scenery, the landscape of your life, just simply by setting an intention in this way. It's also extremely beneficial on a practical level working with TUATHA It will help to nourish ajna, the third eye energy. Okay. It's also good for meditative focus. It helps bring you into your center. It helps call forward your Atman, your higher consciousness, and channel it in a very purposeful way. All right. And then go about your day. Go about your day. At the end of the day, you can practice Tratak again, candle gazing again, only this time with the awareness of what came forward in your day-to-day experiences. And how you use that Tratak at the end of your day may be very different. You may have realized, for example, if you set your sights on everything that comes up today is absolutely meaningless, if you realize, wow, everything that came forward today is everything that's been stressing me out and, pushing my buttons and pissing me off. And now I realize I've been focusing on all this and it's absolutely meaningless. I wish to transform this energy. So now I'm going to offer it up to the flame. I'm going to offer it up to Agni to be burned away, to be transformed and returned to me as renewable energy that will fuel my vision tomorrow. Okay. Or you may have had a different focus. You may have had a pilgrimage. Certain things may have come forward for you. So then you can sort of focus on one of those details and ask for that to get dialed in a little bit more. Seed your dreams with it. Invite it to come in and seed your dreams, and focusing the energy into the flame to light your way forward, to give you more clues, to give you more details, to ignite your inspiration. And then when you wake up the next morning, you may have a very different idea for how to set your vision, your quest for that day. It's actually really cool. It's a really cool way to work with it. Okay, so this is coming forward. I wouldn't have expected that. I love this. Okay, so energies that we have on the board, we have big Libra energy, we have big Aries energy, we also have Gemini, we have Aquarius, we have Leo, we have Sagittarius. We have Scorpio. All right. So let's get some more details. What else do you want to tell us about getting in alignment with our vision when we can't see the forest for the trees, angels? What other guidance do you want to give us in regard to this? What other guidance do you want to give us in alignment with this? Okay. Go ahead and just finish this pass. Woo! All right, that was a flyer there. It looked like a leap of faith, I have to say. Yeah, a lot of air and fire. Absolutely. I mean, it makes sense though with the way those cards came in. The air does have to merge with the fire to feed the cycle of creation. Because then next, when working with the cycle of manifestation, remember it first comes down from the ether. It comes through in inspiration, which the archaic meaning of breathe, to breathe means to inspire. Okay, so then the inspiration comes in through the quality of air. I got the idea. I have the inspiration. It came down from the ether. And then once we have the inspiration, it does nothing unless it's activated through what? Through the fire, through the action, through the will, through the focus, right? And then once we go to that, it moves on to the water energy, which is nourishment. Okay, then you have to nourish the vision. And that's when you also have to be emotionally connected with it. This is Alchemy 101. Okay, now that you got this, something can grow. Okay, something can grow because you have to be connected at a heart level. It has to have that soul level resonance, that source resonance. When I think of water, I also think of the ocean. I think of the source. So it has to have that source connection where it also feeds the source within you, right? And then you move on into the fulfillment of that, which is the North Node activation, the earth energy. So what's covering here? Queen of Wands. I love it. Again, fire sign energy. So we know an action is about to be taken here. And there's a divine power that's building, all right? Even though you don't yet quite have an idea of what the way forward is, slowly, this time of being in this cocooning energy is coming to an end. Soon the butterfly starts to push its wings through. right? And get prepared to take flight, take the action. The stage is a manifestation. And it says here, divine power guards against mental troubles. So, yes, I feel like this can be an issue. We can get too lost in our thoughts, too lost in what ifs, what can channel that energy, what brings in the clarity, the focus. This is why Trot Talk will be very helpful for this. And it will help move out of that sort of cluttered thinking from too many possibilities, too many options, too many questions being in one space. Also, setting the quest helps to create an automatic avenue for your day, correct? It's like if you set your intention like that at the beginning of the day, then you automatically have an avenue to bring your creative focus in through, right? And then from there, it can start to unlock things for you. So, this is really like this invitation to get out of the head and get into the actual connection with it through the action, through inviting the energy into your day and viewing it as a psychological play space, and looking for those synchronicities and looking where the alignment is. Something that came forward for me really strongly when I tried playing with the everything but the kitchen sink experiment was, though there can be some degree of success and positive momentum, 41:11 on the clock, okay? You can get some initial change and bringing some things into alignment. When you throw everything but the kitchen sink at it, eventually that burns out. Its results and its longevity is short-lived because it can't be maintained unless there is the actual connection of enjoyment, resonance, alignment with what you're doing. So you always have to go with what really feels good, what feels like it actually nourishes you and comes into alignment with you, right? And sometimes we think, oh, but we have to do things that we don't really enjoy in order to bring something into being. Like, for example, you may enjoy making videos. You may enjoy the initial process of recording a video and bringing your idea to life. But when you look at having to edit, you're like, editing. Okay. But that's the time when your vision can really help pull you through, when you have to do kind of like the grunt work of what may not be your most enjoyable part of the process, let's say. And if you stay connected to your vision, then you can even find joy in something like editing, as an example, okay? So the piece that's really important, though, is to be connected with something that, yeah, this does feel really good to me. I enjoy this, this inspires me. And all of this is kind of going in tandem with what I brought in recently about what it means to be a creator on YouTube. It all factors in. Even if you're not a creator in YouTube format, okay, you're still a creator in your life. And you're wanting to birth a vision for moving forward that you can really feel connected to, that you can get behind. Well, in order to do that, whatever you're creating, whatever vision you're calling in, it has to be something that, yeah, I really do want to get there. That feels good. And so this is why sort of having like the superficial goals can fall flat if you're like just chasing the bag. You know what I mean? Well, that's kind of hollow. It's more like, okay, you're chasing the bag, but why? Why are you chasing the bag? What are you wanting to create for yourself? If you had, unlimited supply of financial support at your disposal, what would you do with that? That's the true vision. You see what I mean? Finances can be a means to an end, but if that's all you're focusing on and you're not staying connected to the vision, the ultimate goal, desire, well, I would be doing this, which for some of you may be, well, I would just be a wanderer. Going back to that example you brought in, Miss Jenna, I'll just be a wanderer, I'll just kind of like get lost in the world and find myself. And I'll be like the great bard Taliesin, forever on a quest. A character that's an enigma, That will be my legacy. I'll go down in history. That is the story of Taliesin, which is the same story of Merlin. In fact, people wonder, are they one and the same? Nobody quite knows. All anybody knows is these characters keep appearing throughout history all over, you know, in different parts of the world, and everybody has some story of this like Merlin Taliesin type character, but a lot remains unanswered. I mean, what a legacy. And there are people who say that Merlin's still here today, right? So it's all about what you want to make of it, right? It's what you want to make of it. But if you get looked at, if you look more at like the building blocks, like if your focus is on material gain solely, but there's no heart in it, there's no soul in it, there's no creative drive, then, you know, that's why people experience blockages financially. They're not staying connected to the heart of the matter, what really like resonates for them. You know, I'll give an example of that. I used to work at an Ayurvedic healing center, and I really wanted to go on vacation, and I wanted to go on vacation for like 3 weeks. I wanted a real solid vacation. And then I wanted to be able to have a week after my vacation to integrate my vacation before I went back to work. And I worked as an Ayurvedic practitioner, and I did really intensive body work. And it was extremely demanding, you know, physically, yes, but anybody who does any kind of work in that arena knows that it's also emotionally taxing at times, you know. Um, it can be mentally taxing, okay? And it requires really excellent self care, just as a standard. But I really loved this vision. I loved this vision of, oh, I'm going to have a whole month, you know, to just kind of like get lost and just enter a flow and not worry about work and, you know, just do what I want to do. And let me make it very clear. I loved my work. I loved my work as an Ayurvedic practitioner. I loved working with the clients. I loved seeing people go through a journey of transformation. I loved being a transformational body worker. I loved it. I loved it. I loved what I did. But there's, you know, certain, you know, energy output with it. And anybody who does any kind of like work where they're a caregiver, there's a real balance that needs to be maintained. So I was thinking about how am I going to take off enough time? And at the time I was living in California, really expensive place to live, okay? Really exorbitant cost of living. And so I didn't have disposable income, and I didn't have a large savings. And I mean, I was just making ends meet despite how much I was hustling, okay? And so I really had to think about this practicality. Well, the money is what would solve my problems. The money is what would facilitate this. And I thought about it, and I was like, well, how am I going to make this possible? Okay, well, here comes the drudgery, right? Well, I figured out in order for me to be able to take a month off, I would have to work 40 days in a row without taking a single day off. And so I set my vision. I'm like, I really want to do this. And I don't know how I'm going to do this, but let's look at the practicalities. I know I want to take this trip. So how am I going to do this practically? Well, I need to have this in place. How am I going to work 40 days? Well, I'm going to have excellent self-care. My self-care is going to have to be top notch. I'm going to need to make sure I'm getting really good sleep. I'm going to need to make sure I'm eating super nourishing food. I'm going to need to make sure that I'm also getting in some exercise. Exercise, working that much? Yes, exercise. Just to move the energy out of my body, you know, and keep myself in a place where I have some endurance, you know, and then I can handle that workload. Because to do body work on that level, and this was not club rubs, okay? This was not like some she spa massage. This is deep tissue work. This is restructuring work that I was doing. It's very demanding, very physically demanding. And if you're going to do that kind of work, I learned a long time ago, you have to train your body like you are an athlete. It's like training for a sport. And so I had to fit in exercise. And I was like, well, how am I going to keep my focus too? So I keep my vibe really high and I don't feel resentful, you know, because I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want to feel resentful towards my clients because I was tired, because I was working so hard. So clearly I had to keep my focus on my vision, that every person who came to my table was facilitating me being able to have the activation of my vision. And that made me find a certain joy and gratitude in the work that I was doing. And I also made an agreement with life. I was like, let's move into partnership with the spirit, okay? So I'm going to trust that you're going to bring everybody my way that really needs me to, show up, give my all to them and open their road, and that I will not turn anybody away that you send my way. And I will be absolutely grateful for every single person that comes my way. And I held that as my stance. And it completely changed my view, my perception, my experience of what it meant to work that hard. I found joy in it. I was not depleted. I was not tired. I was energized by it. It was like manna for my soul. Why? Because I was in alignment. What was the alignment piece? Service. How can I serve? Show me how I can serve today. So this drudgery I had to do, right? 40 days in a row, working all day, full time, no days off, not turning a single person away. That was the agreement I made. Being grateful for every person that comes because they are helping to facilitate my vision. It's like I wasn't drained at all. It fed me, it nourished me, and it was way beyond what I ever expected out of it. I'd have people come in and they were wanting a treatment that would cost $100. And they were like tipping me $100. Why? Because of the energetic alignment. Nobody could understand that. Oh my gosh, how did you just get tipped the amount of the service? Whoa. How are you getting that? How are you making that happen? It's because of the energetic alignment. It makes magic happen. And it was also because I was feeling that sense of deep gratitude, like everything is showing up today to support me, in making my vision possible. And I felt so much gratitude for every client that came my way. And I also understood that this is part of my purpose today, to align with this person, to do this work with this person. So in a way, it was like questing at work. in a work arena. And it did nothing but fill me up. It did nothing but energize me. Okay? But then when we move into a place of confusion or fear or I don't know my way and we feel stuck, the opposite happens. Okay? And then we don't bring that same spirit into our day, and it automatically puts us in a place of misalignment. And then we experience nothing but misfires and blockages on our path and obstacles. So this is why it's so helpful to root it in your material reality and kind of create, a certain framework around your daily experience, around your reality tunnel, where it's actually like school's in session. And service is an excellent place to start, because you know that when you show up in life in such a way where you ask that question, how can I serve today? How can I serve today? How can my life be of service today to the collective? Then you really find a kind of atmosphere forming in your reality where all of the collective also aligns to serve you. It's a mutual exchange. But we're not programmed like that. We're not programmed like that by the algorithm. That's not how we're normally hardwired. We are, kind of thrown into this capitalistic society that says it's a dog eat dog world, and you got all this competition, when the reality is, no, there's not competition. There's more than enough to go around. There's more than enough to go around. It's just an energy. All of it is just an energy. There is more than enough to go around. But you don't really understand that until you put yourself into the flow. Now, am I saying I'm perfect and that I was able to stay in that place? No. No, like the rest of you. 2020 happened and it threw me off my game, man. Why? Because of the scarcity consciousness, because of the fear that comes in, because of all the root chakra stuff. It dinged within me that mirrored, the sense of lack I grew up with. Okay? And this is what many in the collective consciousness experienced, and has a ripple effect. Okay? And then that becomes the prevailing energy. So you have to be prepared as you start to introduce your quest too. That's why I like working with this concept of what is absolutely meaningless. Show me everything that's absolutely meaningless today. I'm going to just trust that everything that shows up on my path today is absolutely meaningless. It means nothing. You know, if you flip the script and you look at the opposite, it can give you a different perspective that you're not expecting. It gets you out of your sort of structured way of thinking and looking at things in an entirely new way. Now, this is the card that was like the leap of faith card. So I'm really curious about this just to see what's coming in here. Oh, I love it. Watching you go through that was a profound experience for me as a, oh no, come on, bring it on back. Let me see what that said. Hey. Okay. Watching you go through that was a profound experience for me as your friend and observer. Thank you for oh. Well, you've been a supreme help to me. You've been like a rock for me, man. You know, really, and I'm so grateful for you. Be grateful too. Be grateful for the people that show up for you. Be grateful for where you do have stability or certainty in your life. That's a gift. It's an incredible gift to be cherished. But yeah, you know, it's something that I got thrown into the spin cycle with the rest of you, you know? Yeah. I got thrown in the spin cycle with the rest of you, and so it showed me where there still needed to be like a clearing of consciousness, a new perspective, you know, because how do you stay rooted in it when it gets like that? Because it will. Because what you're envisioning is not always going to be sort of like the collective template. It's not going to be the collective algorithm of sorts, right? So you have to really get yourself in that place of focus. And that's why I really love this idea of like set your reality tunnel each day, you know, work with the trot talk and bringing these pieces in. So it's funny because what comes out, right? We talked about Taliesin. We talked about heading off on your own, getting lost in the world. And what comes out, we have the Hermit in reverse. And that's the leap of faith. It's like, yeah, it's time to come out of hermit mode. It's time to stop staying safely cloistered in our own troubling thoughts and our own confusion and our melodramas that we nurture in our quiet moments, right? It's like that energy can be self-indulgent at a certain point, you know, and this is why it helps to move out of that spirit of sort of like, you know, how can I serve today? Instead of me thinking about, well, I need this and I need that, and how can I serve today? Right? I know what my vision is. I know what I ultimately desire for myself. I know there's a limitless supply out there. I also know I got a lot of BS in the way that I need to get rid of. And so I'm going to play with it. I'm going to role play with it. I'm going to set my quest each day. You know, I'm going to set the template for my reality tunnel and I'm going to play with it. And instead of staying in this internalized space, I'm taking it out in the world. All right. Flip that energy around. I'm going to be like Taliesin. I'm going to be like Merlin. Let's get into some wizard shit. All right. Let's shine the light forward, set the tunnel, and move on through it and seek the light at the end of it. And what does it illuminate for us? What does it show us? Okay. It says here, alchemy and transformation rules natural events and helps with spiritual progress. Okay. This is why you don't know the way forward, because it's staying too internalized. The energy is meant to be expressed externally. And a lot of people prevent themselves. Yeah, fully, man. A lot of people prevent themselves from moving forward. They get in their own way with this stuff, right? They get in their own way. 5844. That's 13. 44, 444. This is how you bring in the synchronicity. This is how you bring in the alignment. This is how the timing is right. You're right on time. Right now you're stepping out of time, out of sync, because the energy is too internalized. And when you're in this internalized space, it becomes like a hall of mirrors. You're just looking at reflections of what was, instead of actually, you know, letting the reflection beam outward. Okay. Because what happens if you pulled a mirror up, right, and light hits it, what happens? The light extends, right? take the time you used in reflection, okay, and bring the reflection outwardly. Your reflection is the quest template you set for your day, how you set your reality tunnel. And that will reflect the light outward for you to illuminate the path forward. It will show you the synchronicities. It'll show you the signs. It'll give you the clues. But play with it. Have fun with it, and comment. Like, share the different quests you set for each day. I'll do it with you, okay? We can do it as a community. And in fact, I think I'm going to let you all, have first access to this, okay? This video. But I think this is something that should be shared with a greater broad coven community. I do. I feel like this benefits the collective. But you all are going to get to have it to yourselves for a couple days. Maybe I'll have this air on the main channel on Sunday or something. Give people a little Sunday focus, something they can drop in with and sort of like just ponder and start their week off on a new foot in a new reality tunnel, a different reality tunnel each day. I love this energy, it's by saying, it's kind of like making it very clear once you move the energy outward, okay? Because you already came into alignment with your truth. Once you move the energy outward, the way will illuminate for you, it will be shown to you. But you got to take your part in it. You can't just expect things to show up for you. We're each individual creators. We are meant to co-create. We are meant to be in partnership with life, not just like demand things and expect them to like miraculously pop up. It's actually being an active participant in your life and working with it in a joyful way. It doesn't have to be drudgery, man. It doesn't have to be drudgery. Let me do a cut of the deck here. All right. And it's funny because when I went to set the deck down, it already kind of like cut itself. Eight of Swords. Yep. Truth and justice. Protection from enemies who would steal one's fortune. What's the enemy? Off with your head. It's the way you get too trapped in your own thoughts. Eight of Swords is the way we sabotage ourselves. When we think we're just, at the whims of whatever happens to show up in our lives and that we don't have any activation of our own personal power that we can bring forward to contribute to that energy. We can. And yes, you do get tested. There's challenges. There's stuff that happens in our lives that bring us all to our knees. But the differentiation point is, are you going to just stay down there? Or are you going to get up? Are you going to rise? When you rise into a new form. And so what is that form going to be? You get to decide. You get to decide. So this is really a cool energy here. All right. They're trying to illuminate for you. The angels are illuminating the way that your own thought process that puts you in such a place of turmoil is what actually is holding you back. All you have to do is step out the door. Step into your life with a different focus each day. And let that be your meditation. This is about bringing consciousness into your day-to-day life. And a lot of people struggle with meditation in the traditional sense. They don't really relate to this quality of, sitting in lotus position, listening to some soothing music, chanting. Like, that doesn't work for a lot of people. Some people will go stir crazy. And so this is a wonderful way to work with meditation. Your whole life can be a meditation. It can. When you're consciously engaged with your life, that is yoga. That is yoga. What does yoga mean? Yoga means to yoke with the divine. It means to come into union with the divine. So if you come into union with the divine, that means you're in the flow. That means all the treasures of earth can be manifest to you. You come into that energetic alignment. But in order to have that best flow, it's about asking, how can you serve? How can you serve? How can I best serve today? How can I best serve today? And then just see what inspiration comes forward for you. You know, you may wonder if I'm setting the intention that everything that shows up on my path is meaningless today, that it means nothing. How is that serving? Well, because you're going to start to realize where you're wasting your time and energy putting your focus by what shows up on your path. You've been making something too important. It's not as important as you're making it out to be. And that gets you out of your own way. And that serves the collective. Absolutely. You know, the more of us that become aware that we are conscious creators, the better off the collective is. It does serve the collective. So just be open to that too. And the perspective it can give you on that level. All right. Let's see what this other side says here. Libra energy. Atonement of errors destroys the power of enemies and humiliates them. Okay. So yeah, it's not really about you against the world. It's about you against yourself. At the end of the day, the only thing getting in the way is you know, and your judgments about things and lacking the openness and the spontaneity to actually just move into this place of partnership. You do this, and a secondary meaning of the judgment card is there's like this rebirth energy, there's this revitalization. You know, what was dead comes back to life. That can mean where you felt like you were down for the count and there was just no meaning to life anymore. Suddenly, like I brought in with my experience doing the work I was doing for 40 days in a row, there's an invigoration. There's an activation, a purpose, passion, energy, endless supply of energy. That's what alignment looks like. You know, I had so many people say to me back then, like, how do you even have the energy to do this? How do you even have the energy to do this? How are you not like collapsing? How are you doing a full day of this after already working 30 days in a row? Now you want to go out and have some social time? Like, how are you even doing that? It's because I was in alignment. And so there was just endless supply of energy. And I will also tell you, it was when I was the most prosperous I've ever been in my entire life. You know, everything was just in total alignment. So I already know from practical application that it can be true. And the impossible can become absolutely possible. The only thing that gets in your way is the limiting thoughts around it. And nothing is more limiting than when we look at things through the little myopic lens of, well, just me. Mm-hmm. Service is a game changer, you know? Gratitude is a game changer. Showing up consciously and recognizing I am a creator and actually applying it, you know, by setting that scene in your life for that day, setting your reality tunnel for your focus. It's a game changer, you know? So play, because you're meant to be here to play. You're not meant to just be here to suffer. And I know there's like a lot of religious dogma around that tells us we must suffer. No, no. Transformation, yes, it can be a lot of work. It can be hard work, but you can also whistle while you work. You can do your work joyfully, and it can be very gratifying and very rewarding and actually pleasurable and support you in all ways. It doesn't have to be suffering. To say it has to be suffering is BS. It's just another belief system. You can change it, play with it. What if that was your reality tunnel for the day? Everything that comes to me today is a pleasure. Have fun with it, all right? And just see what comes forward. But this is the judgment. This is what will bring balance. This is what will clear those enemies off your path, because nothing's your enemy. There is no enemy. You're shadow boxing. It's all one energy. And you get to play your role through your little reality tunnel that you're funneling that super consciousness, right? So why would you want to create a miserable experience for yourself? Why would you want to put blocks in your way? Play with it instead. If nothing's happening right now, well, that's just what the deal is, okay? Make something happen with your focus, and then nothing will become something. I feel like drawing just one arcane BS card here, or maybe just doing like one little round to see what wants to come out. It's just got that energy to me. Maybe giving us some kind of like archetypal imagery to work with. They can set the reality tunnel for this little exercise we're entering into here. And yeah, this feels good. I feel like, those outside members can really benefit from this message. So I want them to have access to it since we brought this in on the community level here and members. Yeah, this is about really taking an active role in your life and understanding that you are the director, of your personal experience. You get to choose what lens you view your life through and how you choose to view things, where you set your view, your sights, your view, it totally changes the whole scope of your reality. So, I got my own blocks, that that I have to, unravel myself. So I'm definitely in this space with all of you, and I'll be experimenting right alongside you, and I'm happy to report my findings and what I learned along the way. So let me just get one Arcane BS card here. See what we got. Saxophone fetus. Okay. So this is just the beginning point. This is just the inception. And when I see a saxophone, I think of jazz, right? Jazz is like so unable to be put in any kind of order, right? It's all over the place. It paints with broad strokes. It is innovative, and yet even though there are some things that would normally be considered not in harmony, somehow they form a harmonic convergence when it comes to jazz. Okay, I'm also hearing the rebirth of cool. It's just making me think of that song by the Diggable Planets. But this is just the inception point. Okay, so allow yourself to kind of move into this more freestyle creative space with what would normally be mundane or what normally seems out of harmony for you, and understand how it can actually be the very thing that sort of is like a tuning fork that attunes you to the correct way to move forward and see what comes in. Yeah, flow and creativity, baby. Yeah, And I do got that like rebirth of cool energy, And I just heard too cool for school, No, life is a school. You can always learn more. If you think you got everything figured out, if you think you know the way everything works and, you got all the answers, then you miss out on all this spontaneity, this spontaneous infusion of, what normally seems like to clash or be at odds. And you find out how it marries so beautifully. It actually creates a lot of color to the existence. It brings in so much more inspiration and also opportunity when you move forward in this way and you're like, I'm willing to learn today. I'm just a baby. I'm just a baby, and I'm taking my first steps in the world today with a new view. I'm on a new quest every day, born anew, never the same experience twice. I can't remember who said it. Was it Miles Davis? Got the jazz coming forward really strong. I love jazz. I love listening to jazz. There's a really great jazz station out of Detroit that's just fantastic, man. So good. And I love jazz because it kind of takes you on that wild ride. It doesn't make sense, and it's in perfect order, And I think it was Miles Davis. I'll have to look it up, see if I can find the true source of the quote. But I think it was Miles who said that in jazz, in true jazz, you never play the same note twice, And that it's about bringing that spirit into your day. And if you bring that spirit into your day, then every day is born anew 1:14:33 on the clock. Yeah, that's the beginning of the change for your building block for your future that puts you in alignment with your vision, with your creativity. But first, there needs to be this death, okay? You got to look at things in a new way. You have to be willing to get a new view of how to move forward and stop looking back at what didn't work or what has you confused, you know. If you're feeling confused, you know, maybe ask everything everything that shows up on my path today, uh, can you let it be that which makes absolute sense? It can be an interesting meditation because anything can show up on your path, but you are in this process right now where you're kind of like fixated and focused on the ending, you know, and it's sort of like, you know, keeping you in a place where you don't have clear vision because you got, you know, you're kind of like looking in two different directions. You got one eye set on the past and one eye set toward what is my future. Well, how do you expect to bring things to center where you can actually see the path forward when you're looking in two different directions? Okay, it's about focus. It's about focus. You want to activate your destiny, you got to maintain your focus. Okay, and let this old stuff come to an end. Let it go. Release it. You know, just be done with it. Maybe just take your focus off the past for now. Haven't you looked at it enough? I don't think there's one person out here who hasn't looked at the past enough with all the Scorpio action we've had going on, all right? And you may be feeling just like a last little gasp of that just because of what we got going on with Aquarius right now. And because of that asteroid, Siva, you know, it might be very front and center for you where you're looking at what kind of got laid to rest back there, what got reduced to ash, but it's time to blaze a trail. And when you do, I think through working with this TUATHA exercise and setting your intention like this, something very different can manifest. So let's play with it. Let's play with it as a community. Let's share what reality tunnels we create and our results, and let it be a real place where we can kind of come together and support each other in entering into our day-to-day experiences in a much more dynamic way. All right, that's what I got. That's the download. I hope you're inspired. It inspired me. I didn't expect that message to come through, but I really loved dropping in with you, and I thank you so much for showing up. And I thank you so much for being a member, and to the rest of the Broad Coven community and the subscribers who will tune into this later. Thank you so much for being here, being present, showing up, and being willing to explore this path with me and everything that's yet to be. We're entering into a really exciting time. So let's tap into that creative energy and start focusing on more of the expansion that's possible than what could go wrong. And let's see what manifests. All right. Take care.